Greetings, and welcome to another video. And today, I'm going to be talking to you guys about sparring gear. Now, for any martial artist, sparring is seen as the most important thing you have to do. Now, whether or not you agree with that is beyond the point, because, there are people who have disagreeing opinions on that. But, for those of you who do spar, there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. But, regardless of how you do it, one thing that will probably come up at some point is sparring equipment. Now, sparring equipment in general is, usually just stuff you wear during sparring for either safety reasons, or to get a specific advantage out of your sparring that you wouldn't get without having it. And today we're going to be talking about specifically safety equipment. Because if you aren't wearing some level of safety equipment in sparring, chances of injury are quite high. Because if you are doing light sparring, something might slip through, and sometimes there are accidents. In my school, we call them train wrecks, where where both of you move at the same time or doing the exact same thing, and say maybe you're both throwing a kick and you end up going shin to shin. It really hurts. Or maybe you throw a punch as someone's stepping in, and because you catch them as they're moving in, it makes the force much more than it actually was supposed to be. So safety equipment is usually is good to have then. And if you're doing hard sparring, then you're gonna need to wear safety equipment, otherwise you're gonna get injured. So, with that being said, let's get into it. But for this, I'm going to go in terms of least necessary to most necessary. Now, for starters, we actually have something that I don't have personally, so I'll just try to remember to put a picture of them right here. But they are belly pads. There's something you see a lot in Taekwondo sparring, especially in the competitive circuit. But it's something you wear over your stomach and chest, and your side sometimes. That just protects your torso from damage due to the strikes you take. It's pretty common to see in competitions for Taekwondo, but you do occasionally see people wearing stuff that's similar in other stuff, such as in boxing they have one that's smaller, but it's usually. But it's more or less around your waist and groin to protect against lower strikes, because those ones really screw you up. But the reason why I say they're less needed than other things is because, one, if you're doing light sparring, it's not really all that needed. And two, you see people doing full contact sparring all the time without them. So it's really more of a preference thing than anything. It's good to have if you want to get one. It's one, and and are okay with spending the extra money, but it's not needed. You can work around it, and if you don't have it, you can still spar safely. Now the next one is a little controversial for me to be putting here, and again, I don't own one. Which is one of the main reasons why it's not this low on the list. There are definitely people who would be ranking it towards the top of the list, though. I just don't personally put them that high. And I am talking about a cup. Or some people would call it a jockstrap, or anyway regarding that. Now, these are used to protect your groin from low shots during sparring. It's actually very common to use in any contact sport. Because that's the one part of your body that you don't want it to get hit, more than anything else. And if you do get a hit there, it can put you out of commission for a long time. So, so it's a protective device for that area, but why do I put it so low? Well, because it's kind of heavily debated as to whether or not they actually do anything. Some people even argue they make it worse, pain-wise, because Yeah, because it takes an impact that would be for one spot of it, and instead, because of it, it kind of just smashes it all. Now, you could definitely argue this makes it to do less damage, but dear God, it makes it hurt way worse. Now, yeah, again, yeah, you could easily put this towards the top of the list. Yeah, but I'm putting it low on the list just because I don't think it's as needed. As other things. And again, I'm not even really confident to say they work. Of course, you could definitely get ones that do work, such as if you look at martial arts like Shorinji Kenpo. Yeah, they have one that's that works so well. They're confident to just take full-on groin shots. Yeah, from anyone, even ones that can knock them a few inches into the air, and they don't take the damage. So if you get one of those, yeah, you go crazy. I'd say, yeah, put that towards the top. And of course, there are other forms of groin protectors, that I have no qualms in saying definitely work, such as the Mawashi and Sumo, which is the belt that they wear. So you could put this towards the top. I'm just putting it low because of my personal opinions of them. But if you want to get one, feel free. They're like $10 at most sporting goods stores. Now, the next thing, I actually do have this. It is going to be your uniform for your martial art. Yeah, now, this here is a karate gi. Specifically, it's a lighter weight one. But if you're going to be sparring in your martial art, you're probably going to want to wear your uniform, especially because one, they're durable, so they're less likely to be damaged than your actual clothing. But there is also the fact that if your style incorporates any grappling, in ways such as karate does, at least my style does, then you're going to want them to be able to have something to grab onto in sparring that's not going to rip. Because if you go in wearing just your t-shirt, they can grab you by the collar for a throw and just rip your shirt off, potentially. But again, this one isn't as necessary as other ones because, you're not always sparring in class. You might just stay a bit after class and run a couple rounds of sparring with some of the other students. You might have some people over to get some extra training in, do some sparring then. So overall, you don't necessarily need your uniform. It's just good to have, especially and during sparring. It's good to have something that is either not going to rip or something that's you'd prefer to have ripped than your actual clothes. So your uniform is good to have for it. And now, next thing up on the list of importance, we got shin guards. And these ones have foot pads built into it. Now, these are some basic protective gear for your shins and feet, generally to protect the other guy from your kicks. You see these a lot in Muay Thai or kickboxing classes. These ones are actually a pretty bad pair. I don't actually wear these in sparring. I just have them because if you go to a karate tournament, at least the ones I've been to so far have required you to wear foot pads of some kind. And it was really annoying. In my first tournament, I had to ask other people at the tournament to borrow them, their pair. So, are these important? You can make the argument. Like I said, I don't wear them, but at the same time, I pull my kicks pretty often in sparring because, well, I know that if I put anything into it, it's considered kicking too hard. So I kind of, rather than just trying to pull them about an inch before making contact with the other person, because I know that if it makes contact, I'm kicking too hard. Rather than that, I pull it about 3 or 4 inches from them. So to make sure there's no contact. So I don't really need to use these, but if you do sparring where you do make contact with your kicks, these definitely might come in handy for you. Yeah, but that being said, they also protect your shins against low kicks, in the sense of if you're checking a low kick, these give some padding so your shin's not taking the brunt of their kick. So, so ultimately that's a good thing, because checking low kicks hurts. So much so that in Kyokushin karate they have techniques for defending leg kicks. That doesn't involve. Specifically if you don't want to check your kick to preserve your shins. So, shin and foot pads, they're definitely nice to have. Just not necessary technically. But if you want to put some extra money into it, you can definitely use these. I just recommend a better pair than this, because I only bought these out of necessity, and they're not that good. Now, up next, another controversial item, but definitely more needed than anything else on the list so far. Headgear. Now, headgear is, as the name implies, something you wear on your head for protection. Now, see, like this, and you got the strap. Now, generally, you don't wear glasses with them, but, take it off now, so. Now, like I meant, now, you might be thinking, how is headgear controversial? Well, multiple studies have actually been done on headgear that shows these do absolutely nothing to protect you from head trauma beyond surface level. So it might protect you from getting, say, bruises, or even maybe some minor damage to your skull, but it will never protect against brain damage. So if you wear this, you take a full and you take a overhand to the head, you're getting a concussion. This isn't going to help you. But it does protect against surface level things. So, it does protect you in some sense at least. But of course, there are people who just don't like wearing it for other reasons. For instance, my sensei always said he hated wearing headgear because it felt like he was wearing horse blinders. Because usually, headgear is closed off to the sides like this. Here, trying to cover it. So when you're wearing it, it completely cuts off your ability to look, beyond this. And since him and me, but subsequently because he taught me, relies so heavily on his peripheral vision, he just doesn't like wearing headgear because it feels like it's making him far more restricted in what he can see. It's especially bad if you use a sideways stance when you fight. Because you have to turn your head more to be able to see more. But going back to what I was saying, it's also, I said it's more needed than the previous stuff. Why is that? Well, because a lot of schools genuinely won't let you spar if you don't have headgear. Because so many people think so highly of headgear. But it is up to interpretation as to whether or not it's essential to have. I'm gonna say this, if you like headgear, there's no reason not to get it. Really. Because very rarely are you gonna go to a place and they're wearing, and get ready for sparring, put on your headgear, and they're gonna tell you, now take that off. No one's really gonna have a problem with you putting on a little bit of extra protection for sparring. Heck, if you look at the old karate masters in Okinawa, you actually saw a lot of them wearing those baseball helmets that the umpires wear as makeshift sparring gear. Because it lets them go a little bit harder in sparring. So headgear, honestly, I could do a full comprehensive video on just headgear alone and the pros and cons. But if there's anything so far that's worth buying, I'd say headgear is definitely there. even though I actually didn't buy this. This was a gift from my brother. Now, moving on to the next thing. Something I wholeheartedly recommend getting. Gloves. Now, gloves are almost guaranteed to be thought of when we talk of sparring gear. And here we got two different types. We got boxing gloves, and we got, you see, most people would call these MMA gloves, but I've also heard people call them karate gloves, which makes sense. Karate gloves came first and were very similar. But what's the purpose of gloves? Well, these generally are to protect your hands, from breaking when you punch. And these are mostly to protect, are mostly for the same thing, but they also generally protect your opponent from, your punches. It's just that these are more to protect your opponent, and these are more so to protect your hands. Because generally people hit harder with boxing gloves than with these lighter gloves. Because even though these have more padding, it means that your hands effectively have more mass. Now these are 16-ounce gloves, and these are, I believe, 8-ounce gloves. Potentially, 6 or... I'm thinking 6, actually. I got these like 4 years ago. But very rarely will you go into a place for sparring and they'll let you spar bare knuckle. You're gonna need gloves at some point in your training. As to what gloves you get, though, it's dependent on both the style, the gym etiquette, all these things. But I'll say this: these two are the standard. You might occasionally get a place that recommends you get those. You get different gloves, like maybe those 4-ounce MMA gloves that you see in professional fighting. I mean, I only have one pair of those, and I use those as bag gloves. But 16-ounce boxing gloves are standard for training. And these MMA gloves, or karate gloves, whatever you want to call them, these are the ones I always use in sparring. And so far, I've yet to have a single problem with them. So boxing gloves, I say, are mandatory to get. But if you say are in one of those bare knuckle styles, like Kyokushin Karate, Letway, Kudo, any of those, I still recommend getting gloves for stuff like bag work. Because just getting a thin pair of gloves will still help you with your bag work. And, they won't affect too much. And of course, it's always good to have, some protective gear when you're sparring. Like, even Masoyama, when he first started Kyokushin Karate, had his people wearing boxing gloves when they sparred before he did the ban on face punching to allow them to not use the boxing gloves. Which he did pretty much just so that he could differentiate it more from kickboxing for the people who didn't know the difference. But regardless. And now we're on to the final item in the list. And quite frankly, the only one that I say there is no situation where you should not have one of these. This is not the item. This is the case for said item. A mouth guard. That should come as no brainer. This is a thing that's used in any contact sport. A mouth guard is just is something that you wear in your mouth and bite down on during whatever you're doing, or at least have it in your mouth against your teeth to prevent your teeth from being knocked out if you get hit. It's non-negotiable in any sparring situation. In every single training area I've seen, except for the ones that were ran by people that I generally considered morons, you need a mouth guard. It's non-negotiable. Because these are very expensive to treat. Because it requires a specialty doctor to do it. And there's really no reason not to get one. Now, yeah, you can usually get a mouth guard for a couple bucks. Cheapest one I've seen, seen in the stores was actually 99 cents. Yeah, usually you just have to put them in boiling water for a few seconds and then bite down on them to shape them to your teeth. Now this one here, here is actually a little bit more expensive than that. I got it for $10 because it's really nice. It's one of the no fit ones where it's just rubber and designed so you can just bite down onto it. But one of the things I really like about it is it has this hole in the middle here. So that you can so it allows you to breathe better while you're wearing it. Yeah, because most mouth guards actually restrict your breathing. Yeah, just a bit though. So, so you don't really need to get a fancy one, but you need to have a mouth guard. So if you're trying to start sparring, before you get anything else, just go to the store, spend a couple bucks, and get yourself a mouth guard. Get it fitted to your mouth, just have it. When it comes time to start sparring, when you go to before you put on your gloves, pop your mouth guard in, and you're ready. Put on your gloves, whatever ones you got, and get ready for sparring. Because out of all of the things that I mentioned, there is not a single thing that is more important than this. Because, if you break your hand, recovery is relatively simple, in almost every case. You break your wrist, recovery is fairly, straightforward, and usually only takes a couple weeks. If you get your teeth knocked out, on the off chance that you can have them put back in, you need to have surgery done to do so. If you chip a tooth, generally you need to actually have the procedure done to fix it. As a mouthguard's cheap, but a dentist is expensive. And of course, just go for the cheap option. And you could say, oh, well, we just won't hit each other in the head. It happens. Like I mentioned, train wrecks are inevitable. Now, and I actually bought this case with my original mouth guard back a little over 8 years ago, actually. Time flies. I bought this case to go with it just because I didn't want my mouth guard just somewhere in my bag getting, with stuff all over it. Because, even though I clean it after every use, there's stuff in my bag and I don't want it getting on it. So I got this case. It was a few dollars more. You technically don't need it. You can just put it in a Ziploc bag, but I just like having it. So, that being said, that is the end of the video. If you guys have any questions or think there's any sparring gear that I missed, let me know in the comments section below. I'd love to hear what you guys all have to say. Now, with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. And if you want to be notified of future videos, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. And of course, maybe share this video with someone. But without further ado, thank you all very much for watching. This is Random Hen, signing off.